Hello and welcome to Back at Camp, Mojave County's only outdoor television show. I'm your host, Captain Don Martin. On today's show, we got three special guests. Two of them are going to talk to you. One of them's not going to say a word, but he's very important. We're going to talk to Marsha Tonkinson, and we're going to talk to Emily, and who's the new owner of our favorite dog, Buster. We're going to talk about what Buster is as a service dog, what he does, and he's going to be leaving us here shortly to go with Emily. So we're going to find out what that's all about. So don't go away. Got a great show for you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Back at Camp. I'm your host, Captain Don Martin. On today's show, it's a very special show, I might add. We've got some really special guests here. We got Marsha Tonkinson.
Hey, Don.
And we got Emily. Emily,
nice.
Welcome to the show.
Thank
and
you.
We got Buster. Good job, Buster. Now, today is going to be kind of a follow-up show to one that we did a couple of weeks ago with Marsha, talking about a service dog and what the purpose of a service dog is, and in particular about our dog here, Buster. Marsha, tell us a little background on about Buster, what you did with him, and where he's going.
Well, Don, Buster today is going with Emily as her service dog. He went through several months of obedience and task training with us, and today we're actually testing them as a service dog team, and she's going to get her certificate that entitles them to go through all the public access training, task training. He's gone through over 7,000 hours of public access and task training.
Wow.
Yes. He can do watch my back, check around corners, brace, doing entries through doors first, clearing space. She's going to work on some more commands with him because we didn't want to do all the task training, so he would bond with me. We just introduced those behaviors, and she's going to follow through, so he will bond more with Emily.
Okay. Now, tell us some background on Buster. Where'd you get him, and how old is he? And
we got him through Western Arizona Humane Society down here downtown.
okay.
We assessed him multiple times, thanks to Mary, the manager down there. She let us come and take him out and do some different outings with him, different tests. And then we just said, he's going to be a perfect fit. He had to pass multiple different types of tests, noise tests, no aggression towards people, other animals, and he just did fabulous. He fit in perfect for what we were looking for.
Now, if I understand it, when you're looking for a dog like him, a special dog, there's basically three kinds of dogs. There's the leader of the pack, the middle of the pack, and the guy that just is really cool and just kind of hangs. Buster's one of those that's just, like you say, he's not aggressive, and he's not aggressive to people, he's not aggressive to other animals. He's kind of in the back of the pack dog.
Yes.
And that's the kind of animal you're looking for to start these programs.
Yes.
Now, if I understood right, for a dog like this to go through this kind of training, this much training, he's worth about $75,000.
Yes, he is.
So very valuable animal, and he serves a purpose that, is very important. Now, he's going with Emily.
Yes.
And Emily, you were in the service.
Yes, sir.
You were in the United States Army.
Yes, sir.
How long were you in the service?
I was in the service for 2 years.
Okay. And what did you do when you were in the service? What was your occupational specialty?
Well, a lot of people who are now retired from the military would have known me as a 33 Whiskey, but now our new MOS title is a 35 Tango.
Okay.
I do any military intelligence systems repairing and maintaining. So,
Oh, okay. So,
satellites and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
A lot of intel collecting systems.
Okay.
So we're big nerds.
and you've been in the service for a couple years?
Yes.
Okay. And you're no longer in the service?
No, I am officially separated.
Okay. And did you request a dog from them, or how did you and Marsha get hooked up?
Well, Marsha's actually my aunt.
Okay.
I already knew she did dog training, and I saw how well she was doing with Jasper, and dealing with my PTSD, I knew I needed some extra help.
Okay.
And I'm already a big dog lover. I love animals, so I figured that would be a lot better than going to, a therapist or whatnot.
Sure.
At least this one doesn't talk back.
Right.
But so I reached out to her and I asked, if this is what I'm looking for, how much time would it take? What type of dog would we look for? And, she told me that I can check out the shelter, and we took it from there. And we had 2 dogs actually that were up for consideration, but one was a little bit more hesitant. Like, even though we want, Buster to be relaxed, we don't want him to be scared. So, because definitely don't want him to be working with me and some noise scares him away.
Sure.
So he absolutely was just a star from the start. And
Wow.
he's just, everyone who meets him just loves him. I mean, I've been in love with him and I hadn't met him until Monday.
Oh,
so
wow.
he's definitely already, I've already noticed me going out in public is a lot more comfortable. Being here is a lot more comfortable. So he's definitely going to be an amazing addition to my home.
Good. Well, we appreciate your service. As an Army veteran myself,
Yes,
like I
thank
say, anybody that's been in the armed forces knows that is a very stressful situation, and there's things that happen in the service that stay with us, and as veterans we have to deal with them, and like I say, I commend you for being able to step out into the world and say, hey, I need a little help here, and thank God that we've got people like Marsha that
Absolutely.
are training dogs to help people get through these traumatic situations that we have occur in the military. Marsha, what is he going to do for Emily as far as being her kind of a protectorate? What's he going to do for her?
Well, he'll be able to just help everyday life. Going out in public can be very stressful
Sure.
for a veteran. Noises, a lot of people don't understand that sometimes 4th of July is traumatic with the fireworks. So, the dog's going to provide comfort. He'll get up in her lap, and that's actually called deep pressure therapy, where he just lays up on her, and it helps calm the heart rate and just the anxiety. She can even do that not in the store, just sit on the floor or a bench and get him right up on her lap and just help. The watching my back, she can be shopping, getting stuff, and he can just turn around and just watch her
So
back.
he's going to watch to make sure that nobody's going to walk up behind her unannounced,
Yeah.
or walk up to her, approach her. He's going to block. He's going to get between her and any other people.
Yep.
And he's not aggressive about it, but he's doing that to protect her.
Right, he'll just create space, personal space between them, and just say no. And he's trained to touch her hand with his nose as people get too close, then she can turn around and be aware that they're coming up behind
Oh,
her.
okay, all right. And now, he's not a pet.
No.
He is a service dog. There's
Right.
a huge difference in being a pet and a service dog. He has access rights that he can go anywhere?
Anywhere except for like the burn centers, plasma, and the operating room. But
Okay.
anywhere else he can go. Restaurants, airplanes, ride in ambulances, does not matter. He can go.
Okay. And he's going to be Emily's companion 24/7.
24/7.
So any place she wants to go, needs to go, he's going with her.
He's going with her, and he'll be part of their family. When the vest comes off and the gear comes off, the rest of the family can take and play with him. But when that gear's on, he has a job. He's working.
So he knows through your training that exactly what the situation is. He has obviously he has senses that us as people we don't have.
Right.
And he's able to kind of understand, and when he can perceive when somebody's coming and a possible threat or something like that, and he's trained to identify that and to alert Emily to let her know that something or somebody is coming up.
Yes.
Okay. And when you train him, how do you train? I mean, he's a beautiful dog, and what's not to love, right? I mean,
Right.
really. But how do you train an animal to do that kind of thing?
It's all broken down into parts. We use a clicker. We'll use what's called the target stick. We'll put peanut butter on it and teach them to go around with hand signals and praise. And then we wean them off of the target stick and just use hand signals, voice commands. Watch my back, and he'll just sit. But he's doing it naturally with her.
So he knows. I mean, he knows that he can be communicated with. They can communicate with each other either by hand signals, which are nonverbal,
right,
or actual verbal, commands where she can tell him to do something and he'll respond
yes,
to that. And I mean, that's got to take, like you say, hours and hours and days and days.
It does, but it's well worth it in the final end to see how this come together and how they bond it.
How old is he?
17 months.
17 months.
17 months.
Just year and a half old dog, and you got him from the pound.
Got him from the pound.
Somebody had turned him in, or
Twice.
Twice he'd been turned in.
Twice. They said that he was aggressive, and he doesn't not have an aggressive bone in his body.
Well, I've seen him now on 3 different occasions in 3 different venues, and I mean, that's the most placid dog I've ever seen. I mean, he just, well, but I've had labs, and I know labs, and he's a lab of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't need a pedigree.
No.
And none of the service dogs, if you get them, they don't have to be AKC or
No.
registered. It's just that particular dog's his demeanor, and some dogs have it and some dogs don't.
You can go through 20 dogs before you find that one dog that's going to be a good match.
Now, what's an expectancy here that he can be with Emily? I mean, he's obviously her dog.
Right.
I mean, he's 17 months old. What does a service dog like this have as far as a life expectancy?
They can go 10, 11 years.
Okay. Because obviously, as a dog gets older, I mean, he's like us,
Right.
when he gets older. So, but she's going to be looking at least 10 good years with
Right.
this service animal, and like I say, going to help her through and protect her and take care of things for her. So
Yes.
it's a good deal. So, and like I say, he's very attentive. You look at him, even when he's in a relaxed state like he is now, he's looking around and he's looking to see, and he's looking at her, making contact with her to let her know that he's on the job, that
Yes.
he's not just laying there, just kicking back. He's kicking back, but he also knows that he's on the job.
Right.
Look, folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more with Emily. We're going to talk some more with Marsha. We're gonna look at Buster again and see how he's doing. So don't go away. We're going to be right back after a word from our sponsors. This is a working service dog. Just stay away from him.
Stay away. Admire him, smile.
Welcome back to Back at Camp. I'm your host, Captain Don Martin, and today we're talking about Buster and Emily. They're going to be paired up, and this is the start of their lifetime-long bonding and relationship. Marsha, when people see service dogs like Buster out in public, what is an appropriate response?
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
Leave them alone. Don't approach them. Don't call out puppy, puppy. Don't even try to take a picture. By distracting a dog, you're putting that person's life at risk. You don't know the medical condition of that person. You don't know if it's PTSD, seizures, heart. We just had a story come out yesterday on one of our service dog sites where a 16-year-old girl has an Australian Shepherd as her seizure alert dog. Somebody distracted the dog didn't alert, she had a seizure, fell and hit her head.
Oh, so if you see, and obviously, I mean, when you see on Buster, you see that he's got this special stuff on him, and it says service dog, and it says do not touch and all that. And I imagine that small kids, I mean, kids, just they see a dog and they want to go pet it. So it's up to the parents to make sure that the youngsters that are out there, when they see a person with a service dog, that they tell the kids, don't, this is not a pet.
Right.
This is not like, JoJo back here that's somebody's family pet. This is a work and service dog, and that because of what he's trained to do and what you don't know what he's doing, and you don't know what his handler, what situation they're in, just stay away from them.
Stay away. Admire him, smile. Don't approach. Don't say, well, what kind of dog is it? What disability you have? It's the HIPAA, the privacy issue. Leave them alone.
Yeah, so folks, if you see a service dog out there, there's no need for you to walk up to that person and say, oh, gee, you look fine to me. Why do you have a service dog? That's really not appropriate. And like I say, it's something that obviously it's real. They wouldn't have a service dog if it wasn't real. So that's the appropriate response to it. And remember, these dogs are trained to help people, and don't distract them from their jobs, because it's so important that they stay on task. Yeah. Now, let's talk about today. You got a certificate here, and what's that all about?
Well, per ADA federal law, they don't require certification for service dogs. Businesses, organizations do a public access test. We do our own public access test to make sure that Emily and Buster are ready to go out in the public. We're going to take them out to dinner tonight, so one of his tests is actually going under a table at a restaurant and not picking up food underneath the table, going through crowds, recalls. She has to perform one of her tasks. And on completion of that, which, the past couple of days we've been doing that, so a lot of that's already been completed. She'll receive her certificate for service dog for Buster.
Okay.
And so with that, Miss Emily.
Yes, indeed.
There you
Buster's
go.
certified.
Wow.
Yep.
He's doing all the work.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
You too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Definitely a team.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's the whole thing. You're a team, and hey, he's ready to do his job and help in any way that he can. And to me it's kind of remarkable that you guys have got together, and we know that we're talking about veterans that that are coming back, and there's a lot of veterans coming back and that are seeking help, and we don't have enough help for our veterans.
No.
I mean, we're anybody that's been in the military will know what we're talking about here, about the situations and things that happen when you're in the service, whether you're in a combat zone or non-combat zone. Things happen, and we have an obligation as the American public to help our veterans. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a veteran, but I believe that. I think that it's an obligation that when people put themselves on the line for our country, and in this case, you enlisted, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. She wasn't drafted. She didn't have to go. She willingly went into the service and put herself in situations that is not normal. And for all of this, folks need to understand and be willing to help and do what they can. And she's just fortunate that she's got an aunt that's doing this, and that they've got Buster. How many veterans are we seeing that are coming back that are seeking help?
Last year we had a count of 94,000 with PTSD on waiting list for service dogs. And every 22 minutes, one will take their life.
Oh, so, and there's not nearly enough dogs out there.
No, we have a friend in Florida who's the CEO and lead trainer for Paws for Veterans, who will go to shelters and do the same thing we're doing and just give the dogs to the veterans.
Sure. Does the government, are they involved in this in any way? I mean,
No.
the VA, are they reaching out and saying, hey, we know that this is something that our veterans need and we want to help?
No, but they are starting to realize it. They're starting to do studies now. Instead of medicating veterans, they're starting to do studies on the service dogs and placing them. So they are moving forward with it, but it's a slow process.
And like you say, we have 94,000 veterans that are from last year that are coming back, and it's really a shame that as a country we don't reach out and embrace folks that have went in on their own, The services now are all volunteer. They're not drafting anybody. So everybody that goes went in there willing. And you know, you have that obligation, I think, as a country to take care of our veterans and do everything that we can for them to ensure that they can come back and get back into civilian life without all the problems and that people pick up when they're in the military. I can tell you for sure that it's not just physical problems that you have, that you know, things you see and are subject to cause you problems. I mean, it's just what it is. So, you know, this is absolutely a wonderful program. And, you know, if you know anybody that has issues that need some help, encourage them to reach out and ask for some help, get hold of the VA. How do you do this?
If they need help and they're local and they want help with training a PTSD mobility dog, they can call us.
Okay. And how do they get a hold of you?
Give us a call, 928-530-4605. Call, text, whatever.
Okay. And you're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook.
So if somebody needs to get a hold of you, or they have a friend or relative that you know they understand has some issues, reach out to you,
Yeah.
and you guys will do what you can. You and Lynn, how long you been doing this?
We've been training dogs professionally over 9 years.
Now, what was your background on this? How'd you get started with it?
I mentored here locally with Roy Hayes, and then we moved to Arkansas and we did a prison program where we trained Jasper. We call him Buster's brother.
Okay.
Black Lab for a Marine veteran, and he's actually saved his life multiple times from committing suicide.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Jasper and Buster, and a friend of ours in Michigan, Joyce. She's a crime victim survivor, and her service dog, Jackson, stopped her from recently committing suicide.
Oh, wow.
So these are true hero dogs.
Yes, they are. And like I say, we owe it to our veterans to reach out and help any way that we can. And obviously, this is a working program. It's successful, and we need everybody to get behind programs like this. And don't be, worried about reaching out and contacting Marsha and saying, hey, I got a nephew just come back from Iraq and he's not adjusting well and we think he needs some help. Then get a hold of Marsha. Let them see if they can do something for him, because they absolutely need to do that. That's something that we absolutely owe our veterans, and I can't emphasize that enough, that as a country we need to do this, as individuals we need to do this, and as a community we need to do this. So don't be afraid to reach out to people and get help for them, or support a program like this, because it's well worth it. I mean, this is something that's new, and I can tell you that being a veteran from a long time ago, it sure would have been nice if we could have had some kind of help, to deal with issues that many of us went through. So, like I say, it's a wonderful thing. Now, real quick, last night we did a program, or we videotaped a program that you guys did, and there was another dog there, but it wasn't a service dog. What kind of dog was that?
Annabelle is a bloodhound, and she's a therapy dog. She belongs to our friend Cherie Hefner.
Okay, and real briefly, what does a therapy dog do?
Therapy dogs provide comfort, like in hospitals, reading dog programs, nursing homes. They don't have public access rights like he does.
Okay, and so basically Cherie would take her dog and she would go to a nursing home, and because you know what, when you're in a facility like that, or you're homebound and you're alone, it's pretty cool to have somebody come in there,
You bet.
and visit with you. And
Yep.
and I know I heard the story last night about a young person that would only read to the dog.
Read to Annabelle. Yep.
Yep, and that's a bridge. That's a bridge for that person to make the step where they feel more comfortable doing things in public, in school, and
Yep.
that kind of thing. So that's an awesome program
Yes.
too, and Cherie is to be commended for being part of that
Yep.
program.
She sure does.
But anyway, hey, that's all we got time for today. I want to thank you,
Thank you,
Marsha.
Don. We
Anna,
appreciate it.
Thank you, Don.
Emily,
It was a
thank you
pleasure.
so much. Buster, Thank you, buddy. Listen, if there's something you can do to help out in this program, get a hold of Marsha. What's your number again?
928-530-4605.
Okay. And until next week, this is your host, Captain Don Martin, saying keep your firearms oiled, keep your fishing lines fresh, and we'll see you next week back at camp.